Royal Marine blown up twice in Afghanistan saw steam rising from his lover's head after his estranged wife poured kettle of boiling water on her. A Royal Marine saw steam rising from his lover's head after his scorned wife poured a kettle of boiling water over her, a court heard. Monica Fori, 34, is alleged to have seen red and doused Hannah Stokes, 24, with scalding water from a cup and a kettle, covering her head, neck and chest. Miss Stokes was left with terrible burns as a result of the incident, which happened after she began an affair with Fori's husband Wouter, a few weeks before. Today, Mr. Fori told Plymouth Crown Court how his girlfriend screamed for help as she was attacked by his furious wife. He said, "I saw Monica grab a kettle and she had rage in her face like she wanted to hurt Hannah very badly. She poured hot boiling water on Hannah's head. I saw the steam. Hannah was in agony." The attack is alleged to have unfolded after Fori unexpectedly walked in on the pair at her home in Plymouth, Devon, as they sat in the lounge. She said she was going to make some tea, but poured water from a cup over blonde Miss Stokes, Plymouth Crown Court heard. Fori then emptied the remaining water from the kettle over her, a jury was told. Mr. Fori said he had met Miss Stokes 4 months before incident, after his marriage began to go off the rails. The Royal Marine explained that he was blown up twice by an IED in Afghanistan in 2013, which caused a lot of strain on his relationship. He returned to the marital home just under a week before the alleged kettle attack, after going on a Marine training course in America. Mr. Fori initially told his wife he had cheated on her with one-night stands and then a few days later said he had met someone. His wife moved out of their home a few days before she walked in on the two lovers. Mr. Fori said, "I was at home with Hannah and my daughter who was upstairs watching a film. My wife let herself in. I looked at Hannah and we were both shocked. She used her key to open the door. I was not expecting my wife to walk in. She asked where my daughter was and went straight to the kettle to switch it on. She looked at Hannah and asked, 'Who are you? What is your name and do you have any kids?' The expression in her face was like, 'Who is this woman in my house?' Monica said, 'Don't worry, I will not do anything to your girlfriend. As I went upstairs I heard Hannah screaming. She was shouting, 'Help, help, please help.' I ran downstairs and I could see Monica holding Hannah by her hair and bending down. After she poured the boiling water on Miss Stokes, Mr. Fori said he managed to push his wife away and she left out the back door. Her victim then grabbed her shoes before fleeing out the front of the house. Mr. Fori said his wife then came back around to the house where she threw several bottles and grabbed Miss Stokes' hair, before punching her. He added, Monica grabbed everything she could and threw bottles towards the main door. After separating them, Mr. Fori drove his girlfriend to hospital. He added, "My first thought was to get Hannah to hospital as soon as possible as I did not want her to die." Mr. Fori said his wife went back to her native Poland after the incident. He continued, "Me and Hannah were both in shock. We were not going to press any charges if she let it go. She lost her husband." Monica said, Please make sure you do whatever you can to make sure this woman does not press any charges." Mr. Fori said he collected his estranged wife and their daughter from the airport when they returned to the UK on the 9th of November. He said, "I had no plans to get back together with Monica and I was continuing to see Hannah. Monica then told me she was pregnant. I was in shock. She showed me a test but I still did not believe her. She wanted me to tell Hannah so she would break up with me. I told her I am still not going to come back." Mr. Fori said he and Hannah continued their relationship but split up just over a year ago. The court heard Monica and Wouter Fori first met in a pub in Hamburg in 2004. The court heard she quickly fell in love with him and they both moved to England in 2006. She left her family in Poland behind and was described as a devoted wife after their marriage in 2008. He said, "She started to push me away. We constantly argued and she did not understand why I was always away." With the Marines. "I did not tell Hannah I was married initially. But I had decided to end my marriage as I was not happy anymore. I told her I am leaving you and she started blaming herself. She said she was still going to fight for me but I told her I had an affair. She said she could take affairs but if I was seeing someone else she could not take it. When I told her I had one-night stands she said she had not been a good wife to me." Giving evidence, Miss Stokes fought back tears as she told the court how she would have to live with the consequences of her affair for the rest of her life. She said, "I saw someone full of rage. She was hunting me down. I know we both did something wrong in this situation and the reality is that I had an affair. But now I am out of the shock. I know I did not deserve what I got. I would have to be sick to exaggerate the hell I have been through. I have to live with this every day for the rest of my life with what she did. She had snapped as I was in her house. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be in the press. I don't need that." Fori has denied causing grievous bodily harm with intent to Miss Stokes in October 2015, but has admitted the alternative charge of causing GBH without intent. Prosecutor Miss Jo Martin said Miss Stokes was treated for second-degree partial thickness burns down to her navel and had surgery for a perforated eardrum. There was no dispute that Fori had poured the water over her rival causing serious injury, she told the court. But she said the issue was whether she intended to cause serious harm. The Crown said blonde-haired Fori and her South African husband, who have a daughter together, were having marital problems. And in September 2015 he began an affair with Miss Stokes, and he later told Fori about the new relationship believing their marriage was over. The court heard Fori took that news calmly and they discussed money and childcare. On the day of the attack, Fori was eerily calm as she walked into the house and asked her husband to introduce them. Fori asked her rival how old she was and if she had children and asked her husband to go upstairs. Miss Martin said, Mrs. Fori approached Miss Stokes with a cup of tea. Miss Stokes presumed it was a cup of tea. It was not. It was boiling water and Monica Fori threw it over her neck and chest area. She started to scream with pain and instinctively moved to the corner of the room where she felt, rightly or wrongly, that she was trapped. The jury was told Mr. Fori came downstairs to see his wife walk over with the kettle and pour boiling water over Miss Stokes. She then poured the water over her head and chest, the court was told. Miss Stokes ran from the front of the house but Fori chased her and pulled her hair. Miss Martin told the jury, Monica Fori maintains that she has no memory of the events of that night. The judge told that jury that Fori was suffering from anxiety and depression and she was allowed to sit in the well of the court rather than the dock. The trial continues.